this safety car will last too much longer. Just looking how close some of the cars are running. We keep talking about temperature, that's also battery temperature. And it's really important that drivers get as much cooling into the car as possible so they can keep the battery cool. That's going to allow them to regenerate more, put more energy back into the battery as the race goes on. But if you look at Da Costa, he's so close to Jean-Eric Vergne, it's going to choke off his radiators a little bit.
So what's happened there to Roland? Is it the front left? Yeah, it looks like the front left that's missing, but there doesn't look like there's any other damage.
Normally when you see an accident like that, the wishbones that hold the corner on come off as well. It looks like the wheels just come off.
And the safety car will be in this lap then, so we'll get racing back underway pretty quickly. Let's have a look at the start again. The two Diesta Cheetahs, it was a much cleaner start for Evans, but just had the outside line.
Yeah, and I think Evans, the cars on the left, just gained advantage of the clean part of the track.
White and black Porsche on the left. Pascal Wehrlein going right around the outside. He got on the dirty stuff and still managed to hold it and get around the outside. That was class from Pascal Wehrlein. Watch again, the white Porsche on the right-hand side, far back. It looks like he's cooked, but he keeps it together.
I mean, phenomenal racecraft. And also just looking at where everybody else is positioned around him, not to turn into anybody. On board with Mitch Evans and the Jaguar.
You can see the wheel spin from Da Costa's rear wheels.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I think Mitch Evans didn't want to get tucked in behind. I think we're going already. I think that Jean-Eric Vergne is gone.
Safety car in. Jean-Eric Vergne gets the race back underway here in Jakarta. Through the final corner, out over the line, and down towards the first corner. Evans is pretty close here to the back of Da Costa, and I wonder if there's a feeling at Jaguar they need to clear and split one of the Diesta Cheetahs if they need a chance of winning this race and not let the Cheetahs just control the pace and control the field.
Yeah, absolutely. The last thing he wants to do right now is see Jean-Eric Vergne in the lead, disappearing up the road as his teammate Antonio Felix da Costa in the second of the black and gold Cheetahs just to start to hold him and the rest of the pack up a bit. So let's see how aggressive that Mitch Evans is going to be. This is turn 7 and both the Cheetahs lock up. Is this an opportunity for Evans? Round the outside.
Big mistake from Da Costa. There's contact and Evans is through. Da Costa going in far too hot into turn 7, and the Jaguar driver is now up into second place then. And he will now start to try and attack Jean-Eric Vergne in the lead. It's given Vergne a bit of an advantage. There's some defensive work from Dennis. There's some attacking work, I think, from Wehrlein, trying to get ahead of Van Dorn. Hasn't quite worked out. So there is 3rd, 4th and 5th. Da Costa, Mortara and Dennis. But Jean-Eric Vergne, because of that mistake from Da Costa, has got a little bit of breathing room up at the front. Out over the start-finish straight, we come again. Vergne leading in the Diesta Cheetah, sets the fastest lap of the race. Second is Mitch Evans in the blue and grey Jaguar. Then it's a wide again from Da Costa. He's locked up again going into turn 1. De Grassi is fighting with Lotterer into the first corner, and they go wheel to wheel. Has Da Costa held the place?
Really, really patient, and you can see Da Costa just struggling that little bit.
In front of the huge grandstands and 16, 38 minutes plus 1 lap to go. It was Robin Freitz activate his attack mode. He's down in 19th place. They come across the line. Vergne's lead is just under a second over Mitch Evans in second place. It's half a second back to Da Costa. Da Costa's under a bit more pressure from Mortara than Mortara is the other way around. Turvey's running well in 14th place in the Neo. Freitz is on the attack, getting ahead of Antonio Giovinazzi, but he is in attack mode. 2 attack modes this race, and we'll explain more about that when some of the front runners go through it. Going side by side with Sergio Sede Camera, and a bit of contact, I think, with his teammate there, and sent Giovinazzi spinning. Oh, and then Roland's coming in behind. So that was earlier on. That was a very strange incident. 37 minutes plus 1 lap to go.
I wonder if the angle was just...
I think he just fell off the wheel.
Yeah,
no contact.
Trying to sort of make excuses here, but that is far from ideal. Now, at this moment in time, the car balance, the grip level front to rear is not going to be perfect because the drivers are going to start with a bit more understeer with the front sliding of the car to try and protect these rear tyres as the race goes on, because if you've got the back sliding already, with putting all that torque down from the electric motor, you're just going to fry the rear tyres over this next 45 minutes plus a lap. So I don't think at any point during this race, Jack, the car is going to feel perfect for any of these drivers.
Pascal, white and black car, qualified in 6th but had a 5-place grid penalty. As we look down on Vergne leading, Evans second, Da Costa third, Mortara fourth, fifth is Dennis. But yeah, it was a 5-place grid drop for Verline, and he's trying to... and pressuring the championship leader, Stoffel van Doorn, for that 7th position. You can see he's made up 3 places. Evans has gained 1. Gunter and Turvey down 3 places. And obviously Oliver Rowland, who retired. This time through, the gap comes down by another 0.2 of a second. Just 2nd. Now, when we see all the drivers here go to the middle, they're avoiding bumps rather than necessarily defending or attack mode for the Envision team.
Just watching how straight everybody's driving the cars. We saw Da Costa in qualifying showboating just a little bit, sliding the car around. Any of that going on in the race.
There's the usable energy remaining on the left-hand side. Sebastian Buemi marginally less than everybody else, but at the moment it seems most people down to 15th position. But energy-wise, half minutes to go. Into attack mode goes Jean-Eric Verde. So Jean-Eric Verde takes attack mode from this. You have to do it twice in the race. Both DS to cheaters.
Advantage the power, but look how much time it cost him to take that. But a great, very strong spot as this race progresses.
Da Costa, Venturi of Eduardo Mortara. Some of the teams saying you want to use your start of the race is lower than at the end. So when you're then working the battery harder, you want it to come from like a cooler baseline than if you wait toward...
It's very hot.
I'm an engineer.
Yeah, another thing to think...
Activating attack mode, and he comes out just behind Eduardo Mortara. So the front, he might be able to get him here as they come down the start-finish straight. In fact, he's defending a little bit from Da Costa, sailing past Mortara then for 2nd place, but actually he's under more pressure from Da Costa.
And the rest of the lap, you're turning the whole...
Jake Dennis has activated his attack mode as well, his first of 2. He's running in 5th position, fairly solidly, and Buemi is in 7th place, yet to activate his attack mode also. Here's a great shot of those sweeping corners, and then through the right of 11, and then through 12, and down. Hairpin leads them out into this final sector. You can see attack modes remaining. Mortara, Van Doorn, Buemi are the front runners who have not activated here, isn't he? Behind Evans in the fight for 3rd place.
Yeah, he's come alive, hasn't it? He looked like he was really struggling that early stage of the race, but once he took attack mode, he's in the second. So Mortara in the black Venturi, sounds like he's going to take attack mode this lap.
Race leader, Jean-Eric Verne, then Mortara, then Evans, and then it's a bit of a gap back to Stoffel van Doorn, to be honest, in 6th place. And I wonder what's going to happen with him and Nick de Vries, because the 2 Mercedes are right together on C. Is going to activate his attack mode this time around. So keep your eyes on the 2nd place 40. And that was Bird going past.
Yeah. And this is that sort of settling stage of the Formula E race.
It's the last straight for Da Costa in attack mode, so he's going to attack now or never.
The second half of the race is when it all goes just a little bit mad.
Earlier, but the track is shaped like a horse, like a hobby horse used in the traditional kudu lumping dance. And that's why if you... There goes Van Doorn. Oh, so loose as he got offline through attack mode. Remarkable.
You think how dirty the track is offline, and attack mode activation zone is offline as well, so well held. Now he's going to close the gap up to Jake Dennis ahead in the red Avalanche. Close that gap, use that extra power to make up some track position.
28 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Jean-Eric Verne leading the way. Eduardo Mortara in 2nd place. 3rd is Mitch Evans. 4th is Da Costa. 5th is Jake Dennis. Stoffel van Doorn is in attack mode here. The championship leader down in 6th position at the moment. As they flash through turns 11 and 12. And they're closing in a little on Jean-Eric Verne. Now, is Mortara going to come out behind Dennis here when he activates his attack mode? Because they're all very close together. Mortara doesn't go for it still. But Da Costa does. That's Da Costa's 2nd attack mode. And he's getting them out from the DS to Cheetah team.
I'm concerned about Mortara's strategy in the Rocket Venturi.
Okay, though we push for the code, it's now
Just start to spread out a little bit behind him, and if that's the case, then he can attack this lap. It's almost a given he's going to lose a place to Mitch Evans. But it's then, as you say, Jake Dennis doesn't want to lose a place to Da Costa, because Da Costa's got that extra power already of attack.
Mo's left, Mortara, both of his. So they come into the S's now, up towards turn 11 and 12. Da Costa managing the race fairly well, but Mortara behind him does have an attack mode to use still. Well, 2 attack modes, so he's got 1 more in the bank than Verne, and now Mortara does go into attack mode then. through the left-hander. Gets out ahead of Dennis, no. So he does come out behind Jake Dennis, down in 5th place, and Da Costa's on the attack. And has got attack mode for another 3.5 minutes, and has quickly dispatched Jake Dennis into turn 1.
That's absolutely key to Mortara's strategy. Now he's got to close down Mitch Evans ahead of him in the Jaguar. But I thought Mortara was going to lose more than that, Jack. It seems to have worked out very well for the Rocket Venturi team.
So now he will attempt to fly back up to the back of Vernon Evans, who are running in 1st and 2nd. Da Costa on Dennis. Da Costa through.
And Da Costa again with attack mode. And again, there'll be some ebbing and flowing throughout the race.
You want to push to close the gap on Evans.
So Mortara now being told you've got to close the gap to Evans and Vern ahead.
And Stoffel Van Dorn passing Jake Dennis as well. Jake Dennis in a bit of trouble, it looks like. But yeah, there'll be some ebbing and flowing as the balance of the car shifts as a leader. Jean-Eric Vern takes attack mode as well. Mitch Evans back to the head of the race.
So that's Vern's 2nd attack mode, and Mitch Evans is now in the lead of the race. So Evans leads, but he's still got an attack mode to take. Vern in 2nd does not. Mortara in 3rd does. Da Costa in 4th to know what way it's...
So you see Jean-Eric Vern all over the back already of Mitch Evans.
Has he got
wing of the black and gold Techeetah pretty soon. The car's sliding as the bad news for Evans is Pedro Mortara caught him back those 3/10 that lap, so the gap is the same again. And if he's going to take, if he is going to take attack mode, he's probably going to lose certainly 1 spot, possibly 2.
Cars flashing through that sequence of corners at 8, 9 and 10. Vern and Mortara having a little bit less energy available than Mitch Evans. Evans is looking quite strong for energy at the moment, not massively so. And there goes Mortara into attack mode. His 2nd attack mode, he's got 4 minutes where he'll have more power than the rest of the cars ahead of him, but he's dropped down into 4th place as a result.
Let's use some energy, ENO plus 004.
And Josep Roca, Evans' engineer, has just seen those energy stats that we put up and has decided, right, we can afford to use a bit more energy because the teams only get to see the other car's energy.
Extra power, and then having track position, either drive away or hold up Jean-Eric Vern behind him. That's the plan.
Easy.
Yeah, theoretically, we've got it won.
And has Evans now got a gap to activate his attack mode? There's a look at those drivers who have fan boost still. I think Evans might be quite close to a gap here to come out in front of Da Costa potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be doing it right now, Jack. I think it's far enough ahead. Let's see what he does. Yeah, here he goes. Here he goes.
Push and attack. No magic paddle. Push and attack.
Through goes Evans. Activates attacks to James Barkley as Evans emerges 2nd in the race, crucially still ahead of Antonio Felix Da Costa, and now he's going to start the charge to try and close in on Jean-Eric Vern, but here comes Da Costa on fan boost. He's having to defend here from Eduardo Mortara, and Mortara can't make it through.
I think Mortara gave him a little shove in the braking zone as he moved across the front of him. That's massive for Mitch Evans to hold position. Let's see how much he can close that gap now.
Jakarta e-prix so far. Here's Evans radio. Da Costa is holding Mortara back, so we could magic paddle is the message to Evans. I'm not 100% sure what the magic paddle is, to be honest.
Me neither. I'd be guessing right now. Which has never stopped me before.
Yeah.
He's got a slightly better balance, but he's also got a load that he's got an extra 13% of power, which always makes the car handle a little bit better when it goes quicker in a straight line. Here he comes. And there's no holding him back, I'd say, right now from Antonio Felix Da Costa.
Mortara gets through in the Venturi ahead of the DS Techeetah of Da Costa. So one DS Techeetah leading the way, the other down in 4th place with Evans and Mortara in 2nd and 3rd. There's Evans, there's Mortara with Da Costa right behind. Now Evans on that last lap only closing about half a second to Jean-Eric Vern, the race leader.
But again, he's got to look after him.
Got a look at the gap between them. It was 1.3 seconds. And in terms of energy, Mortara has a little more, but everybody is about the same in that front 4. So it's just about Evans using the next lap to try and catch up to the back of Jean-Eric Vergne, and paper bag or something, I don't think it's bodywork, or it might be some of the advertising from around the side of the circuit, but that has gone flying in the air.
Just watching Jake Dennis there in the Avalanche Andretti car, the red car on next 11 minutes plus 1 lap are not going to be nice, I think, for Jake Dennis.
I think he's a little too far back to attack Jean-Eric Vergne.
Some slight off the last corner.
Nose to tail for the lead.
And they've got the same energy, but just watching Mitch Evans' steering wheel, he's not fighting the back of the car, so the balance of the Jaguar looks really good right now. They haven't really been on board with Jean-Eric Vergne, but the Jaguar looking strong. You've got to watch the body language of the car, it's not sliding. And look how much time he gained into turn 18.
Across the line comes Jean-Eric Vergne, and as it stands, he would take the lead of the championship by 2 points ahead of Stoffel Vandoorne. Mortara would drop down to third, Evans would be in fourth. So this is big. This would give Jean-Eric Vergne the championship lead. If Mr. Grassi, meanwhile, has been fighting with Pascal Wehrlein. Wehrlein used his fan boost a moment ago, and just a little biff between the Venturi and the Porsche driver. But this is the fight for the lead of the race. After this race, we are going to Marrakesh, and then a couple of races in New York and London and South Korea. And the Vergne and Evans are right together for the lead. The 32-year-old Frenchman, the Parisian, up against the young New Zealander in the Jaguar.
Jean-Eric Vergne in the black and gold Techeetah, double champion, looking in his mirrors as he went down the straight. You could see him looking. It's like, where is Mitch Evans in the Jaguar? So he's feeling the pressure.
It's the DS Techeetah team there on the inset on the right-hand side. So we go left, back out with the Beach City Mall on the right. They're pushing so hard, so on the limit here, and even when Vergne was trying to get that stopped for turn 7, it looked right on the edge.
Absolutely right, Jack, and as much as I've talked about the Jaguar looking good in second place, I've got to say the DS Techeetah in the lead looks equally as well balanced.
Mortara dropping away a little in third place, the Swiss racer. And then actually Vandoorne is getting back at the Costa. Into the pits, Nick de Vries. Nick de Vries in the pit lane and seemingly out of the running. Here he comes now.
Got a flat left rear tyre.
Yeah, correct. Rear left puncture for de Vries. But his teammate is up in 5th place. I think this will signal the end of de Vries' championship chances. But 7 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Vergne leading, Evans right behind him. This is great. As far as energy is concerned, it's been pretty close for the whole of the race, and it still is.
Look at it.
I've never seen it this close for a whole e-prix. Giovinazzi's doing something a bit different, but adds Evans to the inside. Evans attacks into turn 7 and takes the lead of the Jakarta e-prix.
Where did that...
Good job, mate, good job.
I don't think Vergne saw that coming either. And can Vergne now fight back? The crowd are on their feet.
I'm glad it wasn't just us, Jack. That came from nowhere. Mitch Evans in the Jaguar. Was there a mistake by Jean-Eric Vergne in the corner before? Let's see, has he got the speed to fight back?
Evans getting a huge round of applause as he comes around the stadium section at turn 16, because he is now leading in Jakarta and trying to get his championship challenge properly back on track. It would be his 3rd win of the season. The first driver to achieve that. We've got 6 minutes plus a lap to go, and there's half a second between Evans and Vergne. Can the DS Techeetah of Jean-Eric Vergne, the 2-time champion, do anything to respond? If it finishes like this, Vandoorne holds the championship lead, and Vergne is up into 2nd place. And this was how Mitch Evans did it. Sent it to the inside and got it done on the brakes, and nothing Vergne could do.
So impressive, because it is so dirty off light. Car rotated. Fantastic stuff.
Jean-Eric Vergne has slightly less usable energy as well than Mitch Evans too. So things are looking pretty good for the Jaguar driver out in front now. 5 minutes plus a lap to go.
Bad news for Verne as Mortara is coming along too in the Rocket Venturi. He's just closing the gap to the car in front. You see him, the third car in view.
Onto the brakes, into the first corner. Less than 5 minutes plus a lap to go. We will get the added time in a couple of moments too. So there will be a little longer because we had that safety car at the start. But here comes Evans, then comes Verne, then comes Mortara, then comes DaCosta and Van Dorn right together. Van Dorn in 5th position in the Mercedes EQ, trying to put pressure on Antonio Felix DaCosta. He didn't look that strong in the early phases of this race, Stoffel Van Dorn, but he's coming back on strong now. Down into turn 7 we go. With 4 minutes plus a lap to go, we're on board with Stoffel Van Dorn in driver's eye, running in 5th place, trying to get ahead of Antonio Felix DaCosta.
And this camera right next to the driver's left eye. Fantastic view. This is exactly what the driver sees. You can see the driver can't actually see the nose of the car, how far it extends. So when they hit the car in front, it's a good excuse. You see him grabbing some oversteer, controlling the slide from the back of the car as he comes through turn 17 into the final corner. He looks strong at this point. I think Stoffel Van Dorn looking to line up Antonio Felix DaCosta. He uses fan boost.
Van Dorn on the attack for 4th position. DaCosta covers the inside. Van Dorn to the outside. Nothing he can do, even with the fan boost. Can't get the cutback either. And DaCosta holds the place for the time being. We saw there that there'll be a minute and a half of added time. So when this 3 minutes and 20 gets to 0, it'll then go back up to a minute 30. And then there'll be a minute 30 plus 1 lap remaining. Van Dorn not able to get ahead of DaCosta in the fight for 4th position. Evans, Verne, Mortara for the lead, and then DaCosta, Van Dorn for 4th place. Jake Dennis still running in 6th position. Evans and Verne still have an attack mode to go.
Jeff might use fan boost on the main straight.
As Evans being told that Verne might use fan boost on the main straight, which they're coming up to in a few moments' time. A couple of corners. And on the run down towards turn 1, is Jean-Eric Verne going to be close enough? Doesn't look like it, to be perfectly honest, but 2.5 minutes plus a lap to go. He's running out of time to try and use it. Verne does. Verne is on fan boost. But he's not close enough.
No, absolutely not, Jack. And you've got to have a big advantage to be able to pass on the brakes into one. You can get them on the straight line speed down the straight, but into turn 1, it's a tough one. But Verne right there, the slightest mistake from Mitch Evans in the Jaguar leading the race, and Jean-Eric Verne will pounce.
And we have seen those errors before. Evans running really well in New York at the end of the last year before tapping the wall, but it's Verne who makes the error. Big lock-up on the left front. How much ground has he lost? None. He's right there. We're on board with the Frenchman. If it finishes like this, he moves into 2nd in the championship. If he wins the race, he moves into the lead of the championship. But Eduardo Mortara in the Rocket Venturi has caught them as well. The 2nd place man in the standings has joined this fight.
Three-way battle for the lead. Who blinks first?
Between 3 of the top 4 in the championship. Out onto the start straight again. A minute 20 plus a lap to go. Plus the added time. You just wonder, is Verne biding his time? The energy still all the same. Have a look and see which one dips down to 8% first, and that will give you an idea of who has a tiny, tiny, tiny bit less. And, well, Evans and Verne ticked over pretty much identically.
That's incredible. They're all on exactly the same energy level.
5-second time penalty for Andre Lotterer. Caused a collision with Nick De Vries. That'll be why De Vries ended up with a puncture and in the pits for a new tyre.
Again, these guys carrying a maximum amount of speed. You want to save energy, carry as much speed as you can when you're off throttle, and that's easy to make a mistake in those situations. Jean-Eric Verne absolutely stalking Mitch Evans in the lead.
Through 16, you can see the dark clouds coming as one of Jakarta's traditional storms appears to be on the way. A little too late to affect the race on what is turning into a beautiful evening and a very entertaining first ever Jakarta Eprix. Across the line we come then, and the added time is about to get added on now. So the added time of 1 minute 30 plus 1 lap to go. Mortara's being told he's got more energy than the drivers in front. And that could give him a chance to gain 1 place.
That's what you want to hear as a driver. Just gives you that impetus, just keep attacking. And you know the 2 ahead of you are in trouble.
We're going to have 2 to go at the end of this one. So 2.5 laps remaining by my calculations. So they're going to be a bit tight on energy here.
And you saw Vern go down to 5% and back up to 6 as he put some energy back into the battery. Watch them again into 13. See if it goes back up to 6%. Oh, this is going to be tight, Jack. The only other way they can do it is by slowing down over this lap to shorten the race distance, but I don't think so. I wouldn't be doing it with Jean-Eric Vern right behind me in my gearbox.
Vern is on the charge now. Coming into turn 18, the right-hander, and this will be the start of the penultimate lap of the race. This is going to be really tight. Vern has a little bit less energy, and Vern's going for the lead here. Down towards turn 1, Evans covers the inside.
But now he's got dirt on his tyres, Jack. Can't overdo it through turn 1. Look how
Gets
slow
out of
he is.
shape. Evans got out of shape. Vern is all over the back of him. Bump.
And Evans is just out of position ever so slightly at every corner.
But he got a little bit of a good run coming through 4. This is the view back from Evans.
I'm struggling with the rears.
Evans under big attack. 2 laps to go. Evans saying, I'm struggling with the rear tyres.
Watching about 3 corners time. Let's see if Jean-Eric Vern sends one down the inside into turn 13. Coming up.
1 lap to go at the end of this one.
Yeah, here comes Vern. No, nothing doing.
And Mortara is right in the fight as well. This is going to be so tight on the final lap of the Jakarta e-prix. We've got 3 for the win.
And you see the wide line from Evans trying to keep the momentum up through these long sweeping corners.
Mortara has more energy than the pair of them. Bit of a twitch from Jean-Eric Vern. Look how close Mortara is now. Final lap of the race coming up, and we've got 3 for the win in the Jakarta e-prix.
Okay, last lap will more stop than the other.
I just finished still.
Mortara to the outside into turn 1. Evans is just doing enough. Vern's in big energy trouble here. He's got 1%. Evans and Mortara have 2%. Vern is going to struggle to finish second here, surely. They're coming down into the left-hander of 7. They're both, Evans and Vern, covering the inside defensively. Can Mortara find a way through? There's only really 2 more overtaking opportunities, and the first one is coming up into turn 13.
Through 12, this is the run up to 13 now. No, he lifts really early, Mitch Evans. Vern defending like crazy. So Evans put the energy back into the battery, back up to 1%.
It's a long run to the line as well, so they may have to lift off here, Jean-Eric Vern, earlier than Mortara. Mortara tries to get through. Vern's out of shape. Evans is surely going to hold on. I think Vern is going to run out of energy here. He covers the inside again. It's going to be right together for second place. But Mitch Evans in the Jaguar has driven a superb race, and Mitch Evans wins in Jakarta.
Come on, come on, come on. Yeah!
Vern holds on to second place at the line by 0.2 of a second. That's what it means to the Jaguar team and James Barkley. And Mitch Evans takes his 3rd win of the season.
Let's have a chat to Mitch Evans.
Hey, nice work, guys. Nice work. You gave me the car that we needed. Thank you. This is down to you guys. Thank you.